Welcome to Arduino Basics.
Now that we have our circuit, we are going to verify first that it was working. Of course, because I moved the motors, when I start the simulation, nothing is going to move. So first, I need to remember that if I move the wire from one motor to a different pin, here on the integer, I need to change the number. That's why I am going to modify the number that I had before for the number where the different wires are connected. Happily, I gave them an easy name to remember that when it's connected to the red or black wire to the gear motor or DC motor is GMR, GMB, GCR, or GCD. Now that I fix it, I am going to verify that, of course, our PIR doesn't work. So I need to include an integer giving a name that I want to use to remember what is the pin I'm using for the sensor. In this case, I am going to use PIR. Now I need to modify the void setup. I am just going to include the pin mode for the PIR, and because this is an input is going to receive the signal, I am going to use input as a pin mode. Remember always to close each line using semicolon. The part where says digital write, I will not modify because this is just the state where everything is going to start at the beginning when I turn on my Arduino board. Now, on the void loop, I am going to modify what is going to happen as soon as I turn on my Arduino board. The first part is that my motors are going to be off because the doors are going to be closed in that moment. I'm just going to include a serial print because I want that as soon as I start the simulation on the serial monitor shows what is the pin that I'm using as a PIR. In my case, it's going to be number 3. Remember, close always using semicolon. Now I am going to use a conditional if because this is the way that is going to make all our program work in the proper way. I type digital read because my Arduino board is going to receive a signal, in this case from the PIR, and when that signal is high, I need to start a subprocess. That's why here I am going to open a new bracket, and the process that is going to happen as soon as my PIR detects a movement, first I am going to ask her to print on the serial monitor a message related to the thing is going to happen as soon as the PIR detects a motion. So in this case, I am going to type open door because that is going to be the message. The next lines, the digital write, what is going to happen with the motors, I am going to modify in order to make it appear that the door opens. That's why only 2 of these 4 digital write are going to be high. In this way, the motors are going to move to one side at the same time, showing that the door is opening. After the door is open, the idea is to wait some seconds before the door closes. So I am going to do something in here. I'm going to print a message, and the message is going to be wait. Means that the door is open, so it's waiting to close. And before each message, I am going to give a delay of less than 1 minute. So remember, here the number that we type is in milliseconds. So when I type 200 milliseconds is just a fraction of a second. Well, let's say better 500 seconds in order to complete this message. But of course, Because I first open the door, the second part of the message is that the door is not going to move or the motors are going to be stopped. So I am going to copy these digital writes for the four motors all in low or in high, and this means that the door stops, and then is when it is going to appear the message of wait. I'm going to give a delay between one command and another. That is something important. What I have now is the door open, the door stops, and while the door stops, shows the message that is waiting. And finally, I need to give the command to close or move in the opposite way the motors. As you notice in here, I have high, low, and here low, high, to move the motors in the opposite way. And of course, I am going to send a message telling that the door is closing at this moment. Now that I finish my code, I am going to verify that everything is okay. Important, semicolon at the end of each line. And remember, for the void setup and void loop, I need to open brackets and close brackets. Here, I verify that for this sub-process, I open bracket and I close at the end. But if I open twice, a process and a sub-process, when I finish typing the line, I need two brackets to close the process. When I start the simulation, I notice the pin number 3 is sending the message that is working, and when the PIR sensor detects a motion, the motors move, stop, and move on the opposite way. This means, according to the message, the door open, wait, and close. Now that you know how to do it, it's time for you to practice on your own model.